Okay, so you guys, I'm so excited. I know I've been talking about this a lot the last few days, but Aspen is so amazing and just got on here with us to share some of, just her heart and some of her tips. We've really gotten to talk a lot more over the last few months, and I don't know. I like, I told people I was like, just listening to her talk. I feel like the way you say things and when you, just talk about stuff, it just makes sense, and I don't know, it just all flows so well. So I was really excited to have you hop on here with our team today, and I know they're really looking forward to it. So
Awesome.
I'll let you kind of take the floor if that's okay, and you can kind of.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you guys so much for having me on here. I'm going to share a little bit of my story just because I don't know if you guys have been on other Zooms or at other events where I've been before. But I want to share a little bit of that with you. But I also want you to know if you've got a specific question, we've only got 30 minutes tonight before I've got another thing that I need to hop on. So I want to make this the best of what you guys need too. So if there's something specific in the chat that would be a good question for me, you can certainly put it in there. I live in Nebraska. I don't know how many of you are in Missouri or around, or if you're all over the place, but I've got 5 kids and I'm a former high school Spanish teacher. And I was introduced to network marketing about 13 years ago. So I had 3 boys at the time, not quite 13 years ago. I had 3 boys at the time. I had quit my teaching job after my first son was born. And I was home with my 3 little boys, 3, 1.5, and a newborn, when somebody introduced me to this industry. And so I had never done anything like this before. I had never known anybody who actually made money at something like this before. But when the girl at church who had been talking to me about this said to me, think about this. If you worked your business 10 hours a week and you could teach 10 other people to work their business 10 hours a week, you'd be paid on 110 hours worth of work. And she said, that's what's called time leveraging. And I thought about it and I thought, I may not be this amazing salesperson and I may not know a ton of people and I might live in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, but I can teach because I do care about people. I can teach, I can share things that I love and my boys are worth it. And so I walked out of church that Sunday and had signed up for that business. And so what's great about where I'm at now in my journey 13 years later is I've built in 2 different companies. I say 2, there were a couple other things in there that we can talk about another time, but I've successfully built in 2 different companies. The last one I was in, I went ambassador in a year, was the top earner. A third of the company was on my team, and then they went out of business. And so when you hear me talk about it works and you hear me talk about being passionate about our owners, passionate about our products, our company, and just what we stand for, the fact that we're 17 years old, all of that, it's because of my experience. It's because of what I went through when my company went out of business. So we've since had more kids. I've got 4 boys now, and I've got a 2-year-old girl. So I love talking to people who are super busy. And a lot of times that is moms, the moms with all the little kids running around wondering how they're going to be able to build a business. But we also know that you don't have to be a mom to be super, super busy. And so one of the things that helped me the most when building my business, I'm a rainbow when I take the test, the color personality test. And depending on which of my friends you asked, they might say, oh, she's so red. My sisters would probably say she's so red. And then they'd probably say she's so blue. She's the funny one. But I also have some green. And so I'm a somewhat organized person sometimes. I do pay attention to details and deadlines and things like that. But when I was building, one thing that I did do was get really specific about what things were actually going to move my business forward. Because as a part green, I could spend a lot of time organizing bookshelves like you see back there. I could spend lots of time doing these non-income producing activities and get to the end of my days and it felt like I got nothing done. And I just learned very quickly that with 4 little kids under the age of 6, if I was going to pull this off, I was going to need to be very, very intentional with my time. And that doesn't mean that I was able to always set aside a block of an hour of time, because with little kids, you can't always do that. But I tried to block out time, but I always kept my list with me. I always kept names at the, forefront of my mind, sticky notes. Back then, we didn't have social media and all these smartphones. We're talking 8-10 years ago. And so keeping that stuff with me so that when I did have a rare moment of silence, I could be working my business. And I stayed really clear on why I was doing it, what I was going to get out of it. Yes, I wanted to help other people. And yes, I knew that I'd never get to the top without helping other people. But I also knew that those little boys and the life that this industry could provide for them was going to be something that would drive me every single day, because it wasn't my personality, you guys. Like now, if you know me or if you've seen me, I was always pretty outgoing, but I also had this shy streak. One time before an event, when I was an ambassador, I was told that I was going to be training for 30 minutes on stage in front of this huge, picture conference. And I was so nervous and scared of public speaking that I was the only leader that wouldn't let them put this type of microphone here, that wanted the handheld, because I didn't want everyone hearing me like hyperventilating and breathing. And the guy that had chosen me to be someone to go on stage goes, "Hey, don't worry about it at all, but stick to 30 minutes and you better kill it. Now get out there." Like no pressure, right? So it wasn't always my personality, okay? I was shy, even though I had this friendly, outgoing kind of personality. I didn't want to walk into the room and be the center of attention. And my first company, it was a party plan. So I know we throw fits and do parties, but it was legit. You build your business doing parties, okay? We learned later how to kind of do one-on-ones. But we had a simple system, and it was with regards to parties, it was 6 for success, 8 to be great, and 10 to win. And so when my distributor kit showed up, my enroller didn't know anything about how to build a business. So we just had this little workbook in there that said that. And I looked at her and I was like, I guess we're booking 12 parties a month. Because if winners do 10, let's just be the best of everybody. That's the red right there. Okay, I got to win. Like we're going to blow everybody out of the water. And so that's what we did. And it wasn't my personality at all. I did not want to call my friends and say, "Hey, I don't know if you know or not, but I just started a new business and I'd really love to meet some of your friends. Would you be willing to have a handful of your friends over? We could chat. I'll show them what we've got, tell them a little bit about our company and our product, and I'll make it worth your time." And I've probably done that 4,000 times, and it's been many years since I've said that, but it made my stomach hurt every time. I was so nervous, but I just looked at my little boys playing on the floor. And it wasn't like the alternative was going to be, we were all going to go to a torture camp or anything like that. Like our life was okay without this business. Like I said, I wasn't teaching, but I was home, and I did have a cleaning business at the time, and I was dragging the kids around and trying to have friends help watch them, take them with me sometimes, but we were doing okay. So I would have still been able to stay home and kind of find things to do, but for what I wanted for them and what my vision for our life was, this was the vehicle to my dreams, this industry. Because there are very few things, if any, that you can truly be your own boss, work from home, work from your phone on your own schedule. And I know sometimes that schedule is crazy, but I remember in my first company, one of our top leaders saying, "I don't mind working 40 hours a week. I just want to be able to choose which 40." And that's kind of how I felt. And I even love that with what I do now. You know, I'm busy. And if you guys are on my Facebook, you're like, okay, is she ever home? I'm home. Facebook always makes it look a little crazier, but I love that. There's freedom in that. And I think we all need to remember that this is a business. And some of you are doing this alongside of your life. So it's your part-time job. And you got to figure out, are you going to work your second job? Pretend this is your second job, 5 hours a week. Is this a 10-hour-a-week gig that you're doing? But then treat it like a job. When somebody says, hey, do you want to go have margaritas and go watch a movie? It's like, oh, I'm working tonight. Okay. Yes, you've got some freedom, but within that, you still are a normal human being that has to have some boundaries of self-control, right? Now, if you're the kind of person that can say, yeah, let's do a margarita and a movie tonight because I'm going to switch shifts and work my 4 hours tomorrow night, then you can do that. But if you know that's not you, it's like they say, we're supposed to be scheduling exercise in. Do any of you guys do that? No. Well, we need to start doing that too. A few of you do. Elizabeth's like, yeah. So we're supposed to be doing that too, right? You put it as an appointment on your calendar. So treat your business like that. Now, if you're at a place where you are home, whether that's a stay-at-home mom or somehow you're already home because of this business, then you decide, is this a 40-hour-a-week gig for you? Okay, are you doing this 40 hours a week? Are you doing this 30? Are you doing this 20, 16? Well, the number doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be 40. And that's the beauty of it, but treating it like a business. And so that's what I did early on. And that means really zoning in. And I sometimes say like doing enough of the right things. Those right things, those high payoff activities or income producing activities, because the right things really comes down to, I like to keep it super simple. At the end of the day, what are we even trying to do here? We're trying to create a network of people who are consuming It Works products. And when your network gets bigger, your check gets bigger. That's all it is you're creating a network. Like we can distract ourselves and do all these crazy things, but you're just trying to build a big network of people who use the product. Obviously, we all know if you get distributors that start building their own network, yours just grows faster, right? The art of duplication, multiplication, whatever you want to call it. So anything that benefits me growing my network would be an income producing activity. So that's continually adding new people to my list. And before social media, it was like, what park am I going to go to? What new Bible study am I going to go to? Get filled with the Holy Spirit and meet some new friends, see what happens. I wasn't the crazy lady. Like I almost was like so not good at the blitz type thing that I'd have people going, okay, are you finally going to tell me about what you do? Because here's my credit card. So I wasn't the crazy lady, like, trying to join Bible study day one and like blitz everybody, but I built relationships that way. So always adding to my list, just non-negotiable. So however you're building, get people on that list and connect with them and be real, whether it's in person or on social, same thing. Just be a friend and be normal and be nice and engaging and see where it leads. And when it's time to talk business, you talk business. When it's time to talk product, you talk product. The second thing I made sure to do every day was reach out to people and ask them to take a look. Okay. And what I mean by take a look is, we all know posting isn't asking and all that, but so it was making the ask. It was, hey, I don't know if you know what I've been up to or not, but I'd love to share a little bit about what I do. I'm not sure if what I do would be a fit for you or not. That's okay. But I'd love to show you the products in the business. And if you're excited about it, awesome. And if not, no big deal. Maybe you'll know somebody who would love it. Could we chat? When do you have 15 minutes? So that was me making the ask, because I knew that me just sending a few messages, texts, or picking up the phone and saying, oh my gosh, and throwing up all over them, they weren't going to be interested. Like I needed them to take a look. So in It Works, what that looks like is obviously, getting to a wrap party or a fit, watching one of our live fits that we do, getting on the phone with you and having a 10-minute conversation, engaging in a really good texting, voice messaging back and forth where you're talking to them a little bit about It Works, going to a 1-team-1 mission. The reason that piece is important and sometimes in this company, it does happen after they're in. Sometimes they get in because of the reps and they sign up. They still want to hear, they need to hear the story of our company. And what I mean by that is I've only found in the last 13 months that I've been in this company, when I've gone to thousands of, met and hugged thousands of people, only 4 people have I met this year that said, I was looking for a network marketing company. Okay. Now, a lot of people have said I needed extra money. I was looking for something. I was going to do medical billing online or whatever. No offense if that's what you do. I've heard it's legit potentially. But, people wanted the money. But only 4 have ever said, oh, no, I knew network marketing was awesome. Like, I was looking for it works. And so I tell you that because we need to remember that most people don't think they want to do this. I don't know how many people I meet on a regular basis. My friend chased me for a year. I blocked her and she found me on another account. Like, it is insane. Or I watched so-and-so for a year. Even Sherry Lynn Alcala, top number 5, says, yeah, I watched someone post on Instagram for 6 months and I made sure to never comment because I didn't want her to talk to me about it. Okay. So most people don't think they want this, and that's okay because they've been burned or they're skeptical about the industry, and why not? Okay. Not every company is as cool as ours, and we don't need to bash those other companies, but let's be honest, people have been burned. My stepmom did a bunch of these growing up, and all I remembered was stacks of products at our house. We had baskets and cookware and we had really nice stuff, and we were dirt poor. People had to give us free groceries. So it didn't work for my family. And so remembering that people don't think they want this. So that's where you take the pressure off, and it's, hey, I'd just love for you to come with me as my guest and check it out. If you're interested, great. If not, no biggie. I just want you to see why I'm so excited about it. Getting to that point where you can talk to them. So that was a focus. I built my list every day, built relationships with that list, spent time with people, reached out and asked them to take a look, and then either took them to the event or the party or had the phone conversation, 3-way call, whatever the tell was. And then I made sure to follow up, get back with people. I think, honestly, that was probably one of the hardest parts for me. Because once again, this is when the yellow comes down, is I don't want to be pushy. And if they like it, they'll reach out. And, well, we'll just see. And I don't want to pressure them. And I don't want to be that girl. But I had to grow out of myself, right? Because the one thing I want y'all to remember with this business is, yeah, you got a lot of tools in your toolbox, but it's also not a buffet. And it's like, well, you can just pick a few things that you actually like about working this and not do the other ones. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean if you don't like social, we're forcing you to do it. What it means is you can't just contact people and throw it works at them and not do the other steps of following up. Like, there is a system. And if you want to know what it takes to go diamond or triple or presidential, whatever you're looking at, maybe you're looking at going ruby, you got to do the pieces. You got to create the list and the relationships. You've got to contact them, invite them to take a further look. You got to tell the story of our company, and you got to follow up. Okay. You got to follow up, and that looks like checking back with them. Hey, I'm putting in orders tonight. Are you ready to get started? I haven't forgotten about you. I know that you said now wasn't a good time because all 12 of your kids have influenza, but I just wanted to touch base and, let you know I'm still thinking of you. Oh my gosh. Look at this girl. She just promoted. She reminds me of you because I know both of your favorite color is purple. Like, you stay in their funnel. That's following up. And it also shows them that you're the kind of person that's not like, oh, well, you're not interested. Peace out. I'm not talking to you again. Okay. So just be normal and be nice to people, but keep them in your funnel. And the last thing that I did was one of the most important. It was duplication. So once I enrolled somebody, I had the mentality that 99.2% of people do not instinctively know how to do this. I mean, I didn't. I opened the workbook in the box, but I was very systematic, and I was like, well, let's just follow this step by step. There's a few scripts in here. We probably sound really cheesy. but I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and just go do it. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody is a born business owner, an entrepreneur, and that's okay. But we can't be mad then when they get in and they don't really know what to do. They're like, I have this kit and I have these wraps. They don't even know to open the wraps like all the way. They're putting on fat patches. And I mean, so we've got to assume in a non-condescending way that they don't know what to do. And that's when you ask, what are your goals? Where do you want to go? What's the best way I could help you? You know, do we need to spoon feed them their initial couple of steps that they need to do? That type of thing. And so that's the biggest thing. I was not a mass enroller. I mean, you guys have to remember when there wasn't social media, I've never even heard of anybody before social media that had a way to enroll 20 distributors in a month or even 10. You know, you usually would get one or two new distributors, but you would work then to get in front of their people. That was my strength. So I was able to go ambassador in a year by getting in front of their people, enroll a few people, launch them, whatever that looks like, and get in front of their people. And some of my biggest leaders, most of them were like 4 or 5 levels down in my organization. And that doesn't mean I enrolled my sister and put her there. It's I worked in depth in my organization. And so one quick example of that, and then I'll stop talking in case there's a couple questions, is I was working out at the gym and I had, this is like 10 years ago, I had this pink heart rate monitor on. It was so cool, you guys, like baby pink polar heart rate monitor from 10 years ago. And the girl that worked out all the time next to me on the elliptical had the same one. So I knew we should be friends because, I mean, let's be real. So I end up befriending her, and one day we go to lunch and I was like, hey, I want you to join my team. Let's do this together. I'm going to the top. Do you want to go to the top? She wants to go to the top. She pays me $999 to join. That's how much it was. No joke. Got a lot of product, but you also got a fat credit card bill. So she joins my business and I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's start talking to people. I knew she wouldn't have a clue how to do it, right? So in a very loving way, I was like, she's like, I said, well, who can we talk to? Who's your dream team? If you could pick 5 people that you want to be on your team, who are they? She's like, well, there's this girl I work with. And I said, let's go talk to her. So we set up a meeting with the girl. So the girl at the gym, pink heart rate monitor, then the girl she works with at the hospital. We go meet with her. We're like, yeah, get in. She gives us $1,000. We get going. I say to girl number 1, keep finding more people for me to help you talk to, but I'm also going to help your girl from work go talk to people. She's like, okay. So I help girl from work. I said, who do you know? Who's your dream team? Let's go. Let's go. We go meet with her neighbor, Laura. I was like, oh, hi, neighbor Laura. Give me $1,000. Boom. Let's go. So we got girl at the gym with the heart rate monitor, girl from work, and then we got neighbor Laura. So I was like, okay, keep getting more people. Let's keep talking. You go get more people. I'm not thinking girl number 1 at the gym knows how to talk to people yet. Why would she know how to do that? She wouldn't know how to help girl from work. Girl from work doesn't know anything. She has no idea how to talk to people. And neighbor knows nothing. None of them know anything. So just because they've enrolled each other, they're all like, I'm treating them as if they're my personals. So neighbor Laura says, well, I'm not really from here, but I have this old friend from high school that lives in New York right now. I could get her on a 3-way call. I said, great, let's talk to friend from New York. So she tells friend from New York that I'm calling her. She's not even on the call. I call friend from New York and say, hey, friend from New York, do you want to join this business with us? Friend from New York has a notepad and a pen, and she's waiting for me to start talking so she can write down all the reasons it's so stupid that neighbor Laura has joined the business. And by the end of the call, she gave me $1,000 and we got going. So I say to girl in New York, I said, listen, we need to launch your business. She goes, I don't know anybody in New York. I'm like, well, where do you know people? She goes, I'm from Michigan. I said, great. Get on Google Maps. I'm like, it's 11 hours for me. Call your sister, get some people over. I'm going. I get in the car, drive to Michigan, launch her business. She's not even there. I just call her later. I'm like, hey, just so you know, you signed up 4 distributors and 16 customers and your team's growing. That girl ended up being double or triple on my team. I know that's kind of a long story, but you guys need to grasp that you put one foot in front of the other, and you do it. Don't assume people know how to do this. You launch them, you get in front of people. She's now my very best friend in the whole world. If you ever Facebook stalk me, the girl that's in half the pictures, that's that girl, crazy girl from New York. So life has a way of being amazing. But girl from the gym, I think she got maybe a couple more people in. She came to a few meetings, still friends with her. She's fine. She made a little bit of money because I worked her business. Girl from the hospital, we're still good friends. We were texting. She made a little bit of money, didn't do a ton. Neighbor Laura, I know her because her friend from New York became my best friend, but we don't have. So it is amazing when you just know what you got to do and realize every single person you enroll knows 200, 300, 400 people you don't know, not counting whoever they've got on Facebook and Instagram. So sorry for the long story, but it tends to be one that means something because you just never know. If I had waited for Heart Rate Monitor Girl to actually do something, she would have gone, I don't even know if she would have quite gone executive, maybe executive, but that's it. Instead of having all this business under her. So do you have any questions? I have like 40 stories just like that. So we're going to do 40 Zooms the next 40 nights, and I'll tell you a new story.
Oh my gosh, we would love it. I love that story though, because it is so like, I mean, it's just so simple, like, and it makes so much sense. I don't know.
Well, everybody says, I want my runner. If I just get a runner. Well, you never know. It may not be your sister that's the runner, but it may be your friends, neighbors, dogs, brothers, aunts, cousins, friends that's the runner. Everybody knows someone. And so that's why I treat every newbie, even if I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know if they'll be great, get in front of their market. It's because 50% of why you want to get in front of their market right away, half of it's because you need to be a good person and do what's best for them. And what's best for them is you help them get a win right away, right? Because we care about people and we're nice. So you get in front of their market because if you can help them get in a few distributors and a handful of customers, they win and you're a good person. The other 50% of it is because you said you wanted to do this. You said you wanted this for your family. You said you wanted a new life, whatever it is that you wanted. And this is your business. And the second you get a distributor, it's your business too. And you getting in front of their market could totally change the face of your business. Because that story I just told you, I could go through every single leg of my business and tell you a crazy story like that of why it blew up. And I went ambassador in a year, not because, and not that it's a race, that's just what happened, but not because my sisters were so amazing or that my friends were. It's because I worked with their people till I found someone who wanted it, and then I could move on. What were you going to say, Lindsay?
Oh, heck, at this point, I don't even know. I
just get fired up about this because it's so doable, you guys. There are plenty of people out there that want this and will work for it. We know there's lazy people. We know there's people that get the kit and they don't have a ton of skin in the game because for some, it's like, oh, $99. I spend that at Target every Wednesday. But there are people that want it. There are people that wake up every single day going, my life stinks right now. I need to make a change. And there are plenty of runners. And you don't need 14 million runners to get really far in this business. A handful of runners moves you quite a ways through it. Obviously, you always keep enrolling, but this is one of those things where it is so worth it just to keep digging and keep consistent. Whether you've been in for a long time or a short time, stay consistent, and every single day is a new day. How can you ignite people who've signed up and have done nothing for 6 months? They were excited to get started and totally on board, but now nothing. Well, that's one of those things where you love them where they're at, you get them involved and let them evolve. I met a girl in Texas at dinner one night with Sherilyn's team, and I can't remember her name. I feel bad if you're on here. If it's you, I'm talking great about you right now. But she kind of told that story about how she was like, twisted her arm, got her in. She did nothing at all, did an auto ship, nothing. And a year later became a single mom and blew it up and went diamond really fast. So we always need to love people where they're at. We always need to tell people, I haven't forgotten about you. Hey, remember you said when you signed up that you wanted this so that you could be home with your dog or whatever. Do you still want that? Because I would love to partner with you and show you how we can run together. But you can't really do much more than just show them and lead by example. And as they start watching you post lifestyle posts, or if you're not a poster, just live that lifestyle. And a lifestyle post might mean you're making $300 a month. It doesn't have to be crazy money. But, you know, you just kind of, I hate to say it, you know, can't want it more than they want it for themselves. I learned early on, I felt that way about my sisters. You know, one of them did decent in network marketing. One has me unfollowed right now because I post about it works too much apparently. So it goes up to corporate too, you guys. Like, we're not spared from the unfollow bug or whatever. But I learned I needed to fall in love with people's activity and not their potential. Because I would look at them and go, oh, they're great, they're this, they're that. And I would want it so bad that it would derail my business when I was waiting for them to go for it. It would derail me because I'd cry, or I'd be upset, or I'd be so yellow that my red wouldn't come out. And I'd be waiting and waiting and waiting. And you got to remember what you're here for.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, before, I know you got to get ready and go, but I remembered what I was going to ask. I was kind of off subject from that, but whenever you said that you were like, when you were building, you were asking, okay, who's on your dream team? Like, who's the 5 people? And then you would ask the next person. Is that something you asked them like right away? Like, so you could kind of get that in front of those people before they did fall off the wagon? So then at least, okay.
That's a perfect question. That's exactly what I did, because the confused mind says no, and most people are going to get crazy scared after they sign up. Like we all do. It's like, what did I do? I've done that with a lot of things in my life. Every time I buy a car, I feel that way. So my thing is I've even said to them, hey, all you need to do right now is you're a professional appointment setter. And they're like, what? I thought we were like selling skincare. I'm like, no. Just, we need to talk to people. And I also let them know, like they may say, I'm like, who's your dream team? Who are 5 people that you just want to go to because you'd love to be in business? And you're going to say, I just started something super exciting. I'm running for a $5,000 bonus. I want to take you with me. I'm going to put together an incredible team, but I want you to know I thought of you first. Would you at least check this out? And I would teach them how to say that with excitement and be that ignorance on fire. And so all I wanted them to do in those first 24 hours is get a few people for us to talk to. And I would make sure they knew. I'd say, hey, and here's the deal. They might all say yes. They might all say no. No worries. We're going to move on. But let's start here. If they're not interested, that's okay. There's plenty of people to go around. Because of course we didn't want them feeling like, well, my dream team hates me. I'm done. Like, this isn't going to work. Like, no, like your dream team doesn't hate you, because there's a chance people might say no, but I want them in motion right away. And I know a lot of you do a pretty good job of that. You're like, let's get your first 4 LCs. And what I love is I see teams that it's like the expectation is, okay, great, awesome. Let's get your first 4 LCs tonight. Then you'll go ahead and have your shopping spree will kick in. Like, they're not like, well, you got 30 days. You set the tone. I mean, as a former school teacher and as a mom of a boatload of kids, I've learned just in life in general, you set the tone. And if you expect this, that's all they're going to give you. If you expect you're in your seat when the bell rings, looking forward with your pen out, your hands to yourself, not tip back on your chair, then that's what you're going to get. Okay. Which I sucked at that part. It sounded really good just now when it came out, but I was too nice as a teacher, way too yellow. So, but it would, in theory, that's how you set an expectation. But I definitely do that in business. It's like, set the expectation. You're going to sign up. All right, our goal for April, we're going to go ahead and get you your 4 LCs tonight. I want you to also think of who your dream team is. Let's go ahead and set up some calls or get your launch, whatever it is you're going to do. And then by the end of the month, we'll go ahead, get Ruby done. And then that way we slide on into Emerald in May. Sound good? Okay, let's go. Here's what that looks, and then just start. And they just don't even know that there's an option, and not in a pressure way, in a pour the belief out, the expectation. Let's go, Ruby.
Yeah, and your excitement.
Even if you didn't do that, guys, if you're sitting here going, "Why did it?" It doesn't matter if you did it. It's like you tell them, "Well, I know a lot more now than I did when I signed up, and here's how it rolls now. This is what's going to be fun."
Yeah. Do you have time for one more question?
Yes.
Okay, Hannah had her hand raised. Hannah. Oh.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question, you were talking about like your runner being your friend's dog, cousin. So I had a distributor who signed up a girl and then the enroller quit like 2 days later. And so I'm now training this girl and she's enrolled somebody now. And the two of them live a few states over from me, but they're wanting to have a launch party. They've been doing it. They've been in the business for a few weeks now, but they messaged me today actually and said that they want to do a launch party. Can I come help them do that? Blah, 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 which I'm going to go do. But I'm wondering, I don't do parties a lot. I'm not a big partier. I'm definitely more of a social media relationship builder. But so I'm wondering like what the best way is to help them get people there, especially since I'm making quite a drive to go. Like what's the best way to make that happen and be successful with that?
Well, I think first of all, just setting the expectation in a loving way that people need to be there. Zoom with them. You could Zoom with them and say, let's do a contacting Zoom and help them with the right words. You know, don't have them say, oh my gosh, I'd love for you to come over, Wednesday night for 3 hours. My upline's going to be here with her straight jacket. You can't leave until you say, like, it's fun. Is this a wine and wraps night? Is this a sip and sample? I'd love for you to check it out. My good friend Hannah, she's driving 4 hours to come over and do this. I'd love to have you check it out. You can wrap. I think Zooming with them would definitely be good. Creating the expectation of this is who we want to have here. But I will also let you know, and people are doing different things with invites. What is it called? I'm trying to remember. Debbie Sasick did it, like sending an actual, I'll think of it. If I think of it, I'll let you know. But there's other ways to like send reminder invites and things like that. I do think they need to know that they can't blast it out on Facebook. I mean, they can certainly like post, but they need to very intentionally text someone and say, oh my gosh, can I call you for 60 seconds? I have something super exciting to ask you.
Yeah.
What are you doing Friday night? Nothing? Okay, great. Come over and we are going to have so much fun. Just come check this out. Teaching them some of that verbiage, but I will also tell you as the upline, number one of the smartest decisions you've made tonight is that you're going to that. I think it's just fantastic. And I'll tell you 20 stories sometimes about why you just go. If you can go, and if it's in your budget, and if you have a supportive system that will let you do it, you go. And it's doing enough of the right things. And sometimes you go and it's one person and you give it your all and you shine for that one person. And sometimes you go and it's 7. And sometimes the ones with 1 are the ones where you get that one runner. And so it's the right people are going to be there. Do everything you can to coach them to get people there for the energy. But then you just rock it, even if it's 2, and you've shown them your commitment to them, that they're not alone in this business. If nobody comes, go live on their Facebook pages and do it live and say, we're sitting here, and show them. And for you, don't overthink it. You be you, and their friends are going to be like, I want to be with her. Sit on the floor and have your little bag with a handful of products. Don't do anything that's outside of who you are.
Yeah, that's my style. Like glass of wine and sit on the couch. Like,
yep. Be excited and confident and just cool with the whole thing, but have a plan in place for this is what we're going to do. If there's several people, I'm going to need them helping with the wrap room. If people are wrapping and sip and sample, this is what it's going to look like. If it's 3 or 4, don't be afraid to make the ask at the end of the night. Are you guys ready to get started? Get them in the system. Show them how it's done. If you have to have a couple order forms printed, just in case there's too many, do that. And then have your contingency plan for if nobody comes. Well, then you spend time contacting with them, sending messages, looking up the screenshots, helping them answer people back. Grab their phone out of their hand and do it. Say, okay, pick a person and then send messages, and then do a 10-minute live on their Facebook, or go do the party on Facebook Live, and come up with something cute for the people who comment. They can be entered to win whatever.
Awesome. Thank you. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Yes.
Really quick, how soon do you think is like the best to like invite people like to the parties or to events? Because we, like some of the girls here locally to me, we try to do parties like monthly, but like that's a struggle, is getting people there. And we're like, are we inviting them too far out? Are we not getting them enough notice?
I've kind of heard it both ways. I feel like, well, I think first of all, saying, what are you doing on such and such a date? Or do you have plans before you tell them what you're inviting them to, can be super helpful. Hey, what are you doing? But I do think more than a couple weeks, unless it's your friend that you know will make time for you and it's, hey, on May 8th, we've got something going on. You've been telling me for weeks that you'd look, like, please block this out. That's one thing. But for the average person, you know, I know some people that have had luck posting on Facebook, sip and sample at my house tonight at 7, come on over, get your free sample. So I don't know if there's a one size fits all. I don't think it hurts to invite a couple weeks before, but I also think that you don't give up the day before or 2 days before thinking, oh, it's too close. Because sometimes those things are even easier for me. It's like someone might plant a seed about something 2 or 3 weeks and I'll say, yeah, that sounds good. Let me know. I'll check my calendar. But it really helps if they just ask me a few days before. I'm like, yeah, I can go. Swing by and pick me up. Offer to pick them up, guys. If there's local events that you're able to get to, offer to pick them up and make it fun. Say, hey, let's stop and grab an appetizer before, or a cup of coffee after, or drink, or whatever it is that you're doing. You know, if time allows, make it somewhat of a production like that. But yeah, picking them up, you're much more likely to get them in the seats.
Thank you. That's really good tips. A lot of us are doing events and parties more. So, well, thanks. I won't keep you any longer because I know you're already 12 minutes over your time. So.
Oh, that's okay.
But
that's okay. There was one question in there that said, how do you get over the yellow mindset of, I don't want to be that girl, or being afraid to follow up? I just want to answer that quick so I don't leave her hanging. But I just feel like, number one, it was a few things. One was reminding myself that that's what I think they think, right? So first of all, that's me thinking, oh, they're going to feel this way. Like, I had a lady on Instagram today. She had asked me if I wanted to be a part of some fitness group or something. And I said, no, thank you. But I don't think she's a bad person for reaching out and asking me that. Like, I'm not thinking what she might be worried that I'm thinking. She's like, I'm sorry for bugging you. And I honestly responded, hey, you're not bugging me. It's not going to work for me right now, but thank you. So some of it's what we're thinking they're going to think, right? The second thing is, I remembered why I was doing this, and that I could be a loving person. If I don't want to seem salesy, then don't. Be real and authentic. And third is, Ambassador Diamond Kim Touchton was asked this question last summer. We went out to dinner around green carpet time, and a few distributors were with us. And someone asked her that, and she said, listen, when you're sending messages to people, if you feel yucky about it, you feel like, you know, oh my gosh, this, or this, stop for a second and think about it, because you're making it about you. And when you make it about them, then it's not scary. So part of it is mindset. Guys, we have to remember that we have the ticket that could change somebody's life that's on the border of bankruptcy. Their spouse might be walking out the door because all they do is argue about money, or they're bawling leaving their kid at daycare, or they're going stir crazy at home because they need something to call their own, and they're lost and lonely, whatever it might be. If we get that mindset of, we get to tell people about it. And the same thing with the products. Like, I like to have you guys ask yourself, what's best for your customers? Is what's best for your customers to just offer them a bag of keto coffee? Or is what's best for them to say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're interested in the keto coffee. I do want to make sure you know we have this Fit 5 that has some keto coffee in it, but it also has a sampling of some other products that really, really work well together. And so I say that because sometimes people are scared to offer the packs. They're scared, wouldn't the Fit 30 be the best because it's the most savings? So I think when we can kind of flip that mindset a little bit and go, what's best for other people? Okay, what's best for them is that they get a chance to take a look at this business and know what they're saying no to if that's their answer. What's best for them is being reminded, you know, hey, I just want you to know, I know you were excited about the wraps because you've got your wedding coming up. I'm putting in orders. You're not being pushy. You know that she wanted the wraps or that they said they were interested. So finding that line and just do what's best for other people in a loving and thoughtful way, and realize this is a business. Like, as much as we maybe roll our eyes when we walk into certain stores, or whenever I go to a car lot just to look, somebody comes up to me, hey, you know, I'm just looking. But I don't hate those people. They're not bad people. They're doing their job, and this is your job and your business. So be a loving person, work this like a business, and realize a lot of it is in our head of what we think people might be thinking.
Love that. See, I knew you'd have such good ways to say stuff. I love that. Well, thank you so much. I think we got all the questions. Someone said in there that like reminder thing that I think Debbie Sasick, was it red stamp someone said, or?
I've never heard of that, but it was basically like an old school way to invite people to something that we did like 8 or 9 years ago. The name Eventbrite keeps coming into my head, and it's not Eventbrite, but if I think of it, I will. But it was a way to just invite through a little thing, and they could click if they're coming or not.
Did you get like an email? Like, did it come? Yeah, Evite.
Yes, Evite. That's it. That's what Debbie Sasick was using. Yes, thank you, whoever put that in there. Yeah, Debbie Sasick said as reminders, she's been doing that. I think she posted it maybe in the Lifers page. So, you know, that's a thought too.
Yeah.
But be sure you're having events. Be sure you're inviting people to things. I love social media, and some of you just blow my mind with how awesome you are. But just know there is such incredible loyalty and relationships that can be built by not ignoring the people that are right around you as a possibility, and building that local team, if you can, of people that you can just spend time with and, you know, do power hours with, like Rachel Wiggums, a presidential, who is an example of someone I know. They get together every Monday and they work on stuff, and then they get together on Thursdays, and I don't remember all the days, but they have so much fun together, and she builds on social as well. But it's just so cool when you can have some local people that you get to do this with together, because, you know, we know that it's not just the money that keeps us here, it's each other.
Yeah, well, and I always try to tell them too, like, even if it's just one person, you know, you don't have to have a huge group. You just, one person is like all it takes to get together with. You don't have to have a huge thing. So, well, thank you so much. I know my phone is blowing up and everyone is loving this, and I really appreciate you taking time for us tonight, because I know you're super busy. You got a family too, but we appreciate it. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, we will. But hopefully I'll see some of you guys in Dallas in a couple weeks. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know Lori's going to be there. I think there's a couple others that are going too. So yeah.
Awesome. That'll be so great. We're going to have a good time.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good night, and I appreciate it. And I know
you guys too. See you later.
All right, bye.